Check, check. I think I unmuted it. Are my glasses over here too? And let me turn that down.
Check.
Start a feedback loop. Hello, 3 people. Thank you for being here. Why don't you say something in chat so I can tell who's in the room? And let me see. Need that toothbrush. Alrighty. So I have this monster right here to go ahead and polish on stream, and you can't see it very good from out there, but it's fantastic with green and teal and little hints of blue coming out underneath. But I didn't see the blue being very bright underneath the main areas, so I didn't really want to chase for it, because I've done that before where I've chased for a blue that I thought was going to be really bright, and then it wasn't so bright, and the green that was before it was super bright, and I just wish I would have stuck with the green. And this stone is so large and so great that I just want to sort of not ruin it, you know what I mean? It was a giant pain in the ass to carve this stone, which I'm going to show you some more of that in just a second. Before I get started on that, I'm going to wait till we have a few more people in the room. I have this other smaller stone right here. Let me change the angle. Got this smaller stone right here. And I had something else I wanted to show you guys or carve before I got to the big one to start off the live stream, but somehow I set it down and misplaced it, and I can't find it anywhere. And it's a super, super cool stone. But this has a lot of color already showing on top. It looks like it should be a super easy carve. It's the tail off of something that was really nicely preformed. It has a really bright green. It's a very olive green on it. And we'll see what else is there, but this should go really fast. As Welk. How's your day going, as Welk? Nobody else wanted to say anything. Oh, whoops, this isn't fine. I shouldn't be using this. Give you a close-up of the other stone, too. Hey, Margaret. So here's the one we're going to be polishing today. We're going to be polishing that one, and we're going to be repolishing this one. I need to move that a little bit. That'll probably help. Focus, camera. Don't do this to me. Come on now. Everything was going great. Now we're doing that focus thing where it doesn't want to focus for me. Anyways, so this is what we're going to be getting to work on. But I figure I'll go ahead and put some color on that other stone real quick first. This is a definite monster. Both those two are clean. This one has not been carved at all yet. And this is my new, this is how I'm doping stones generally now. One, because I do like wax for the ease of removal and stuff like that, but what I don't like about the wax is that when I'm polishing, if I hit the wax with my brushes, the heat of it will drag the wax into it and it'll ruin the polish, and it's a pain to get out of the brushes and off the stone once it's that fine of a layer. So I definitely like to use super glue when I'm doping fire agate generally. And then also one of the main problems I have is that my hands start to cramp even when I'm holding big stones like that, but the pinching, I start getting major cramps in the centers of my hands and my wrists and stuff. So I found the way to combat that is to go ahead and put it on a handle a couple of inches in diameter, and then I can carve it the same way, but I'm not gripping that thing that way. It's much better like this. Thank you. Yes, it is a very great day, very beautiful day. I'm realizing I should probably need to switch the camera angle again. Oh, and because one of my motors gave out today, this one just pops right off. But this one does not. One of my motors gave out today, and so I have to switch handles when I want to switch from 1/8 to 3/32. Oh, come on, get on there. Oh, that's good. At least this one's nice and tight. The other one's not nice and tight. The color's all right on top right here, so I'm just going to start by touching it with a 600 and seeing, what I can expose. What wants to pop out real easily and real nicely, real fast. I think I can just do this stone in like 30 minutes, in all honesty. And I think the big stone should only take about 30 minutes of polishing because it has some depth areas, but it doesn't really have a lot of areas that are like crevices that are hard to get at. It's strange. It should be rather easy to stick a burr inside of that and get a good polish on it with the wool burrs. I don't have my setup for the TV in back of the screen that I'm working on, and I don't have a couple of things that make it a little bit easier to transition from one scene to another, so I'm having to run across the room. Another thing is this thing's just getting to healed. I get on the screen there. Yeah, you know what? I'll show it next time I do it. If you carve too much fire agate and you sit there and put a piece of fire agate on the same point of your thumb over and over again for hours on end, you end up driving a divot in a hole that you can't really feel until it's relatively deep. And I'm like 3 days in of healing right now. Ooh. Something felt weird in my piece right there. This little stone right here was inside of the box that was for sale for $250. The rough box that I pulled off and started carving some of the stones out of it. Oh, am I not on screen? Of course I'm not on screen, because I always do that garbage. Try to keep it too tight. Don't have it quite set up where I want it to. It's because I have two cameras shooting off the same ceiling stand. Ceiling stand. Sliding ceiling contraption I made. Yeah, thank you about the nice looking agate statement too. I'm not I spend hours and hours a day carving these, and honestly, I really need to get some money coming in, so I need to do a sale. Maybe I was planning on having a garage sale with a bunch of stuff. Maybe I should do a fire agate sale next week too, online. Give you guys some deals, like some percentages off of stuff. Although, to tell you the truth, I'm really locking down this carving thing. I'm definitely more interested in selling carved stones than even rough at this point. Hello, 8 people. I'm just trying to prep this stone out real quick, see if I can get the top of it with a bunch of color, which the camera's not really focusing where I want it to. The camera's not really working where I want it to at all, to tell you the truth. Not the one I feel is the most important, too. Gotta make sure I hold this stone up instead of down. This is not the large, super amazing stone. We're going to be polishing that one in just a few minutes, and it should turn out pretty awesome. So, I mean, this stuff on top of here, it has sort of a reddish hue, but it's definitely not like the popping neon red like that green is, and anything that's not really the super neon colors, like uber bright neon colors when they're wet, they're probably not going to look like what you want when they're dry. You know, once you polish them, you really sort of need to bring out the neon color if you at all can. If there's no neon colors in it, then go with whatever pastels or light colors are there if it's like a one color stone or something. Too low again, man. It's a non-stop issue for me, isn't it? Oh. Oh, that's not what I want to do. Stupid camera, move where I want. I got everything getting all messed up now. This is hilarious. All right, I think we should be about in shot now. My stupid I wonder if it's still going to work. My computer screen just went to sleep. It's going to make me unlock it. I hate that it did that while I've got a live stream going on it. That doesn't make any sense to me. Yes, Margaret, I am. The next 2 stones I'm about to put out are like the master class for me. This one especially. This is like this one that we're gonna polish here in a few. This one is like super, super amazing. It was super difficult, really deep instead of round. But because of the way that fire agate is reflective and the way that that stone has like a deep well, almost like a whirlpool in it, the color is going to be really, really bright and really easy to see, because fire agate has this thing to where if if the shape is super, super round, the light just sort of bends around the shape, like doesn't bounce off of it for you. It's like, it's better when the contours have bits of almost flatness or other contours that meet up with them to help light reflect. I wanted to get a video out Friday, but it just wasn't possible for it to be any good at all. So I'm hoping I have it done tomorrow so I can post it on Monday. And maybe Mondays will be the day where I'm posting, you know, really well edited videos. And then between, I'm going to keep trying to have some sort of interesting short videos about whatever I can come up with to post. For a minute, I thought I was going to be moving back to Destin and taking a hourly $18 an hour job for a while. Help my son pay for some college. That doesn't appear to be happening, so hopefully I can get this thing going with the carving of gemstones. I need to work with a couple of jewelers. I need to find a couple of jewelers that really want to work with this stuff. Because I think once it's in gold, it's much easier for people to buy. Nine people in the room. How you doing, 9 people? So think about things like water lines, right? Like it looks like you can see underneath of that red right there. Let me zoom in. It's got the right focus though, that's for sure. So it seems like you can like see underneath of that, and that's pretty much telling you that whatever color line you have that meets up right there, that's probably going to be the end of it. Like you're probably not going to have another color bar, at least over here. Like on this side where you have more brown and stacks of lines, it's very possible there might be other color bars that fade away to just being one on this tail end. But when it's telling you something, man, I would always tend to listen to the stone. If the stone is hinting towards something, sort of take those hints, especially when it's telling you that might be the end of it, because pushing it a little bit too far can really ruin a stone. I've done that a few times. It sucks. Ruining stones sucks. You know, I've been lucky in that I've sort of noticed, or I've started realizing it when I'm starting to screw a stone up, and so I would stop and I would put it away and not mess with it till now, and I'm finishing a whole bunch of those now. I mean, there's more than a few of these stones you guys have seen a bunch of times before at some point. Trying to stay inside of this really tight camera shot is really difficult. Ten people. I've got a couple more videos about fire agate I'm going to be putting out. It's on a couple of different misconceptions and about pricing and grading of fire agate. And And I think you guys will enjoy them, and I encourage you that when the well-produced videos come out to share them as much as possible. It's like that old STD thing in high school. If I can get 5 people to have sex with my video, and they get another 5 people to have sex with my video, and then those 5 people get another 5 people to have sex with my video, there'll be 1 million baby videos all over the country. Something like that. Hey, Resort Dog, how you doing, buddy? Was that better than Opaline that drug you in here, huh? So I mean, you see how that's sort of, it's definitely red. Like it definitely has a red hue right there, but it's not really the neon red. It's sort of it's almost like a see-through burgundy. But I think that green is underneath, or I wouldn't keep going, because it definitely looks like the same stuff that was on top up here. Whoops, I'm not on camera. The problem with this super tight shot. Dark and raining, huh? I've been doing little TikTok videos. As far as Reddit is concerned, I don't think you like post your own stuff on Reddit. I think other people have to talk about you on Reddit. I mean, I could be wrong. I could be wrong about that, but I'm realizing I got the wrong glasses on, don't I? My eyes are starting to strain. Let me see if I can find my other glasses real fast, guys. I think I need a new prescription, because when I'm doing stuff that's labor intensive now with my eyes start to burn really bad, like there's smoke in the room. So I think I need to go in and get a new prescription, which honestly, that'd be a good reason for me to go and get a well-paying or a good hourly job that has some sort of benefits, because I could use some insurance and actually use the insurance. But I really need to make it out to the mine this winter. You know, I need to make some digging videos this winter for sure, but I really need to make it out to the mine this winter. I need to stock back up for my own cutting, because as you guys see, this is like a really easy cut right here, but this other one was not, and I'm getting good at this. I'm seeing everything I want to see. I'm pulling out what I want. I'm understanding how the colors are running. And, you know, when you get really lucky, you have colors that just stack on top of colors, but a lot of times you'll have different color layers that in between each color layer has like this, I'm off screen again, damn it, has like this bronze that I'm taking off right now, to where you could see that on the side. It's like sort of off brown, and you can see some color through it, and that'll be over top of like a different color layer. So maybe you would go through this green and see a bronze, and then if you went through that bronze, it might be possible there's a purple or a blue or a red in between there. Green is the most common color, but green is also the color that has the most brightness to it, meaning that you'll have a stone that has a really great green underneath a whole bunch of pastel other colors that are just not great colors, but that green will be banging. And then you'll have, I need to hold my position there. And then when you're really lucky, you'll have like a green, you know, with a red, with a purple, with a blue, all sort of stacked. Just wait, guys. We got 13 people in here. Here's another show off of the let it get wet this time. 13 people. This is the one we're really going to polish here in a minute. It's too big for the freaking camera, for the way the camera is right now. This was a pain in the ass to carve. This stone was for sale on one of my 1-minute auctions, and I started the bidding at 40 bucks, and nobody wanted to pay 40 bucks when I started the bidding on that at this stone. And I said, okay, that's fine, I'm going to keep it then.
Thank you to all the people that did not bid $40 on this stone. I'm really, really excited and happy that I got to carve it. It was a super great learning experience and absolutely solidified my confidence in my carving skills. This right here, it felt like my master's, going for my master's dissertation or something, you know? I literally put nonstop, like 4 days from sun up to sundown work into this. Is totally obsessed, but I've really, really gotten totally obsessed with carving again. Working out, riding my bike, and carving. So that smoke show we're about to carve. There is none opal around here, but you can buy opal. I mean, honestly, the opal that's in the United States generally, I wouldn't put to a lot of wet and carving, and every piece that I've pretty much collected is dried out, has not turned out great. It's like if you want to see if you have good opal, you gotta like wait a couple of years and then try and cut it on some wet wheels and see if it all crazes within a few weeks after that, and then you'll really know what kind of opal you got. Because somebody just digs some opal out of the ground, it'll look fantastic, it'll seem fine, and they'll go ahead and cut it, and there'll be nothing wrong with it, and that's because it really hasn't had the time to truly dry out. And sometimes you just got to give it some time to dry out. Once it dries out, all that crazing starts happening.
I just got to widen this shot out a little bit. It's a problem.
Australia just has that on lock. I mean, even Ethiopia, you got to dry cut Ethiopian opals, which that tells me how to cut opals from Nevada too, though. You got an opal from Nevada that hasn't crazed out, dry cut it. That's definitely what I'm going to do with the orange one I got from, dang it, I forgot the name of the claim. A Resort Dog, what's the name of your buddy's claim? That's where I got that orange fire opal from. What's worth 300 to 400? This is worth 300 to 400.
If you're talking about this is worth 300 to 400, you're smoking crack. I wouldn't sell that for $300 or $400.
No way. I got 40 hours worth of work into that, and it's carved damn near perfectly. Something like this is worth $300 to $400 once it's in gemstone form. But I'll get into that in the video that's being produced. I'm not going to sit here and explain all of that to people now. I do know this, that as far as fire agate goes, it's the most undervalued stone on the planet right now. That's a real gemstone. It's definitely better than opal because it's not as hazardous to be harmed and broken, damaged, ruined. It'll be around for a long time once you put one in some gold. But I am definitely not one of those people that's going to be willing to sell my artwork that I spend tons of hours of time into on the cheap, because I've seen what artists get for their work when they put it in a little bit of gold, and there's no way you're going to convince me. I've seen how this stuff is made. There's no way anybody's going to convince me that taking a wax carving and putting this inside of it and then putting $500 worth of gold in it makes the whole thing worth $5,000 and my work's only worth $10 an hour. No fucking way. I'm pretty sure nobody else that carves this stuff wants to get on that train either. Oh wait, you mean everything else is going up in price, but this is going down except for some certain people that already put it in jewelry? No. $25 a carat fire agate should be directional. If you got showstoppers from all angles, that's not $25 a carat, that's $100 a carat. And carats only if there's no extra, no like 4 millimeters of stone stacked on a flat surface that you don't need. You know, a couple of millimeters, 3, actually 4 is probably right, so I should say like 6 or 8 millimeters. 4 is probably just about perfect. 4 millimeters of base stacked on top of a flat surface probably isn't that bad. That's probably like that. But I mean, the thing is that if you go to fireagates.us. The really great gemstones that can be set in things that are amazing and of a really nice size that Richard carves, they don't sit in his store for very long. They disappear. Like, they disappear because the people know what they're worth, and he's not selling them for, you know, $30 a carat. That's just not how that's happening. Well, I mean, if you have them all perfectly carved out and they're all super colorful, great. If they're not, then that's really where the rube comes in. A rough piece of fire agate showing almost no color could have $10,000 stone inside of it and be almost worthless to the average buyer. The majority of stones are windowed, trying to be ruined. I think it's, yeah, it is coming out of there. I mean, my advice in that other video was exactly dead on. Like, people talk about devaluing the stone and stuff like that. If you're putting artist's amount of work into a piece of absolute beauty and it is show-stopping on color, you sure shouldn't be selling it for pennies on the dollar for your time. That's fine. I'll just figure out and get the gold myself and put it in there. I can carve wax. I'm cupping the stone wrong so you guys can't see it. I'm like exposed pretty much almost the whole top, but I haven't done these little beads yet except on one side because it's so difficult. Yeah, that really depends on how your stones are carved then, you know what I mean? Like, this is definitely in one of those realms of how it's cut determines the price ginormously, and that's an issue with, I'm not necessarily talking about your stones, but a lot of jewelry I see that's 20 years old doesn't have the value that fire agate has nowadays, and that's simply because it wasn't cut properly back then. A lot of people didn't understand how they were cutting it. They were cutting it on wheels. So there's a lot of fire agate that's in gold and that's in silver that's running around that's basically antique at this point. That can even be from the 50s and 60s. But the cuts on the fire agate will be really poor, and you'll have sections of color with lots of brown. And nowadays, for what we know about this stone and what we know how to cut the stone and the tools that we have, we shouldn't be producing stones like that. Not artists. Artists should, you know, you have places like the Stones Outlet and stuff like that, and they're just trying to move as much to make a solid living off of it as possible, and I understand that. But I'm not trying to be Waffle House. I'm trying to be Gordon fucking Ramsay. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the funny thing is, I don't make that reference lightly. I make that reference intentionally about Gordon Ramsay. And the reason I make that reference intentionally about Gordon Ramsay is because if you were to have dug with me when I had people digging with me, I can be really, really hard on people. And I'm not being hard on people intending to be mean. I'm being hard on people trying to drive them to success, because telling them a couple of nice times didn't seem to get it into their head, and then I start getting frustrated and I turn into a coach. I turn into a badgering, mean, like, come on, man, get it, pick it up, let's fucking go, you can do this, damn it, you know, like, and some people really don't like that when they paid money to go and work somewhere, literally paid money to go and work somewhere. But if it's on your work, I'm trying to make sure you get this shit out of the ground and take it home with you. You know, if you were with me for 5 days and I had 5 days to show you everything I knew, and you're not picking up the first couple things fast enough, I'm going to ride your ass and try and make sure that you do. You know, if you got to pick up the basics. If you don't at least pick up the basics before you leave here, what are you doing here? Yeah, that's definitely true. You definitely have to carve to the stone itself. If you just do what the stone is telling you to do with its initial shapes, it's easy, and you can't go in too aggressive. Once I start getting near browns, I'll go through clear and white agates with 80 grit, and then when I start getting anywhere near browns, I start backing off to the 120. And then anytime I'm even got a hint of any sort of color at all, then I go to the 220. And then I'll brush it with a 220, and I won't even get near the color before I'm at the 320. And when I'm really just starting to see the color good, I'm at the 600, brushing it up like I am right now. Like this one, this sort of side edge over here is being a pain in the ass on me, but this top is being real nice. On one of these edges, I'm going to have to go through this green, though, because if this is the other piece of that stone that I have that has the purple and the green and the red and the blue, that would be absolutely fantastic. It has yellow on it, too, actually. Like a neon yellow. Sorry about that. Getting back on screen right now. I start blah, blah, rambling and shit, and then... Sorry, I'll quit cussing so much, too. I start rambling, next thing I know I'm nowhere on the screen. Literally doing this because I think polishing that big stone's only going to take like 30 minutes, and the other one only barely needs a touch-up at all. It's like it just got trimmed, and since it got trimmed, it needs a polishing touch-up. You gotta do each one of these little balls by themselves. Gotta get their little round just right, and if you can't get in the crease, you gotta use something else to get in the crease. You don't want to knock the whole thing flat, because then it gets that whole jawbreaker, like when you break at the top off the jawbreaker look, and that's not good. Whoops. Get back on camera, man. I just need to move this a little bit, I think. I think if I move that a hair, I'll be better. That's not better? No? Okay. That's better. So how's everybody's weekend gone? Has it all gone pretty good? That's one thing. If I would have had that TV in front of me like I usually do, it's way easier to stay on the screen when I can see it right in front of me. And one thing about these stones, for me to get the shapes just right, I have to turn them at the different angles and make sure I can see that the piece I want gone is gone, and see that the color that I want coming in is coming in. And like for me, part of the way of making them right is literally checking the angles and carving it by turning it all the time, basically. I'm checking the angles, basically. Four people. Where'd everybody go? I didn't polish the big one right out the gate. I got used to all my people wanting like 2-hour live streams. Apparently a lot of people thought that last video was a live stream. It was definitely not. That was for sure an edited video. It was done as a premiere, which I now regret because it made it like an hour-long video when it's not. Yeah, I don't think that's going away and turning green on me. That one angle looks like it's going to, and then it's not. The thing about fire agate is you're constantly questioning everything you're doing. You sort of have to have some faith in some of it until it just disappears, until the color just poofs away on you. Fire agate is awesome. I love it. It's truly unique. Lots of stones can be similar, but almost never exactly the same. Especially since it takes an artist's hand to relieve the color out of the stone. These damn little nubs, man, they're such little pains in the asses. 7 people. When I get back up to like 12, I'll bust out the other one and finish it. I'll stop this wherever it is. Although I knew this was going to be an easy one. That's when I saw it after I couldn't find my other special one I was going to be working before, which is a really cool one. I'm trying to make it double-sided. It's one that a pickaxe swing knocked it off the top of a piece of fire agate, and the bottom of it was all inverted color, all really bronze. I've been working it, and now it's sort of gold with a whole bunch of other colors inside of gold. Those little bubbles look blue more than green to me. We'll check them out as soon as I get done getting the copper off of them, the bronze. Off camera again, sorry guys. Got 6, we're going backwards, not forwards. Four. Damn it. That's not better. That's worse. I say things like that, and then people are like, screw this, I'm out. How long have we been here? 40 minutes? I guess that took longer than I thought. I only exposed the top, though. But, you know, 40 minutes for that much color is not bad at all. I think people sometimes forget when they're looking at a piece of fire agate, the gemstones tend to be small, you know, not super large, and that's still a really nice ring stone either way you cut it. Even if it was just to get that top strip of color that's there right now, it's a all angles, my kind of green banger. Need to go ahead and finish those sides up and see what I can do about that and tighten it up the top, but that's good enough. I'll pull out the blue one and we'll go ahead and start carving that. No need to drag this live stream on too long. I just remember back in the day when I'd have these super long live streams and there would just be a bunch of people there all the time. But that's what happens when you go and start slacking on YouTube, man. I let my personal life ruin my YouTube career, but not much of a quitter, and I'm really good after I get a second wind. At least this time when I start a Patreon, I won't just need to be putting out digging videos to have some value. The stones I'm carving are definitely going to be good enough for artist value on Patreon. Cockatoo Birdman Bill, your message got retracted. You're going to have to probably say it in a different way. It didn't like what you had to say, man. I gotta go turn off my AC real quick. Give me a second. Alright, it's turned. Oh, I guess I need to drop some water on all my polishing pastes real quick. You're so lucky. I have a handicap and I'm colorblind to a point. Oh, I mean, unless colorblind just usually means it changes the colors on you, right? When you're getting the good colors in fire agate, you know that you're on them. So I mean, as long as it changes the color, you shouldn't have any problem. I mean, if you just see in black and white, then yeah, you're pretty much fucking screwed. Where is my medium? I can't find my medium powder anywhere. You know, I keep having this. Oh, there it is. I do keep having this problem today, though. Problem is that my shit becomes a disgusting mess, and then I clean everything up, and then I can't find anything for fucking ever after that. Move the water out of my way. Don't need that no more. Now this stone ends up being extraordinarily deep in the center, which ends up making it extraordinarily thick stone too. Just the way it goes on that one. You know the thing I love, I love bananas, right? You know the thing I hate about bananas? Seems like it never fails. I buy any bananas and I bring them into my house and I have frickin' fruit flies I'm trying to get rid of forever after that. It's like if you want to eat bananas, then you have to deal with fruit flies no matter what nowadays. That shit is really getting old. Like, take your fruit flies away from me. I don't want your stupid fruit flies. Just I bought some bananas. Yeah, Bitcoin is up even more. Oops. This is really the laborious part right here. The other two polishing steps tend to go pretty fast. This one right here takes a little while, but it's really doing a lot of work for a wool burr. Hey Archangel, how you doing, man? Sure, what's your fruit fly tip? This side doesn't look like it got shaped very good. I feel like I'm going to have to redo that. I see some hard tool marks right there that's, I mean, they get covered by whatever it, just polish the rest of that thing on the sides for the most part.
Damn it. Camera angle. Stupid camera angle.
We're looking for a major waxy finish. Want a super waxy look on it. Get rid of the shaded finish and just a waxy finish. Need some more water. 6 people in the room. How you doing, 6 people? Yeah, I need to do this with fake breasts and on Twitter, and I'll get lots of followers. Gotta be a Twitter bot now. Twitter bot. Twitter. I mean Twitch. I'm saying Twitter and I mean Twitch. And I shouldn't be doing this without my mask on either. I'm putting my mask on. Blowing diamond shit in the air. Yeah, I don't think that's quite gonna work.
No offense, Archangel. That seems like a cartoonish idea. More like poison a brown banana and put it in the jar so that all the brown fruit flies go in there and fucking die. This motherfucker wants a catch and release program for fruit flies. What kind of Archangel are you? Fucking catch and release, no fruit flies. Fuck them fruit flies. Them bitches can die. No fruit fly lives matter. None. Not one fruit fly life matters. Fruit fly lives don't matter to fruit flies. Uh-oh. I gotta be careful with the tip now. I think the tip is starting to come out. I think the spike is starting to come out in the tip. I might just want to ride out using the side of this and then get me another one. Whew. Burn the shit out of my finger right there, boy. Yeah, place fruit fly on wooden block and strike it with second wooden block. Exactly. All fruit flies were killed during the making of this video. Let's get rid of this fucking thing. Oh. Fuck, I don't want those ones. I want the other ones. What happened to my bag o' burrs? Shit on a shingle. I'm not trying to go back to that other freaking handpiece. I need those other burrs. I didn't prepare for this part. I didn't prepare for the part of needing the fucking 1/8. I don't know what the hell I did with them at all. I got no idea. I actually think this one might be. It is. It's definitely a 1/8. But I still didn't find my package of them. I need to find the package of them. Oh, maybe that's not 1/8. Yeah, it is. The right size. What the hell's going on here? Alright, well at least for the medium one at the moment I got the right burr. This is the one you really need to make sure you have a mask on for. It just sprays shit everywhere. Especially with the medium. The medium, it doesn't keep it on the stone very good at all. It's not like the fine and the super fine. Especially the super fine soft. That shit is so sticky to the stone. Because the diamonds are so small, man. It just sticks to the stone so good. Oh, whoops. Damn it. Ah, damn it. I hope I didn't just fucking scar the color on that stone. That would really piss me off. I need to quit cussing. Probably gonna have to go get a regular job. So I need to quit cussing so much. I almost went and took a job that I think I would actually like. I was pretty much getting told about really fast advancement opportunities. Oh yeah, this side's definitely rough. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to go back and do that side. It doesn't matter though, it's all below the color bar. I'm going to finish up what I'm doing and I'll just polish that out too. It'll just be shiny over some imperfections. Scratches with shine over them are what it'll end up being. Getting that pressure point spot on my thumb again, although I can't really use that. I'm just going to have to tough it out right now. Seven people. Hey, 7 people. It's starting to really look right the way I want it to.
whoa, whoa. That was almost bad. This damn handle cost me like 120 bucks. It has not been freaking worth it at all. Not at all. Boy, this thing's looking real spiffy. Getting real close. There's a couple other spots. I just literally do this method every time now because it works the best. Like hitting it first with that and then hitting it with this just really gets what I want and gets in all the angles and all the areas. Anything I can't get, I've been able to just get with a toothpick. Just drop some Diashine on the edge of a toothpick and be careful with the pressure. Well, I think that's about ready in the color zone, that's for sure. I think that's about ready in the color zone. Actually, I think there's one little spot down there that's... And there's, I definitely have a spot that needs a toothpick or something small. Well, I actually don't have the ability to use a toothpick right now. That would take a different frickin' hand tool. This hand tool won't work for that, I don't believe. I don't remember where I put... There they are. There's the toothpicks at least. Shit, don't step on those. Alrighty. Found my other things too. Yay, toothpicks to the rescue. Nope, won't work in this one. No big deal.
Moving on up to the fine. I took a screw and I put it in a box that I have, a cardboard box. Any old cardboard box would work. Like that. I take the cardboard box and I poke a hole in it so the screw will sit on top. And I put the screw on there and I put a big dab of regular super glue, not gel super glue, just cheapo regular super glue, liquidy super glue. Just a nice dop of that on there to where it's got a little bubble of it. And I just lay my fire agate on it and let it sit. And then once it's dry, I just screw it into the wood that I've already pre-drilled. Keep your hands from cramping. Easier to hold stones. This frickin' handle, I'm hating this handle. I wanted a quick release 1/8, and I thought it was a quick release 1/8, and when it got here, it had this slide thing that protected my hand enough that I was like, hey, you know what, I'll keep it. Sort of regretted keeping it. Oh, I didn't clean the stone yet. Focus, stupid camera. I'll have the handle soon that'll work for uh-oh. That's green. Yeah, I'll have this handle soon that will work for toothpicks and stuff like that, because I have to order a new motor, and since I have to order a new motor, I'll end up getting another one of those really cheapo burn your hand handles. Start polishing, immediately go off camera. Killed his sorry ass. It's like my hands are scared of the camera or something. Well, with fire agate, I just go ahead and hold the fire agate and I run the screw over a torch, over a blowtorch, and warm the screw up and then pull the screw off using pliers. And then I just go ahead and clean up the back of the fire agate either on my grinding wheels or just drop them in acetone for a couple hours and then take them out of acetone and wipe them off really, really good with an acetone wet rag. Fire agate are not opals, where opals you will damage them if you soak them in acetone. You're not going to damage fire agate by soaking it in acetone.
There's end up being a couple little tool marks on that I don't like. I'm going to end up fixing that later, but not while I'm on camera right now. On camera right now, I'm just going to go ahead and finish this polish up. Totally forgetting to do the outside. Crappy ass outside area right here. Oh man, that was bad. Fuck. I think I just scratched that edge a little bit. That's the problem with putting pressure on it, man. You go and put pressure on it and slip and have the rotary part bang on something while it's spinning. That always sucks. I'm glad you did too, Kyle. I need every warm body I can get in here. Boy, my hand is getting tired because I'm putting hella pressure on this thing. Ah, fuck it. I'll do the outside of it when I'm not on camera again. My hands are getting so tired from the pressure and the angles. Huh, I wonder if I got everything. I probably will have got everything if I go ahead and put the burr on here and hit it with that now. Although I didn't go around the outside of it very good. I should really do that. How you going? How's it going, Shogun? Jeffrey Allen? How's life been treating you, Jeff? Life keeps attempting to treat me like shit, so I keep burying myself inside of the fire agate. And I keep bringing out beautiful stones. It's about time to start making money off of some of these stones. Yeah, I think I should wash this or just switch to the other burr, actually. Just got over COVID. Well, geez, that sucks. Stay the hell away from me, man. Pretty bad? Not too bad? How'd you get it? Apparently, it's not the same for everybody. It's like sex. Well, I mean, it's not like sex, but it's not the same for everybody. Oh, where is the yellow? There's a yellow. Yeah, I probably should have bought a flat lap to start off with. Although switching discs and putting pastes on and stuff can get expensive. It's sort of surprising to me how cheap flat lap primer is, yet at the same time. Although I guess they do have polishing discs and shit. Come on, stupid thing. I really want a quick release 1/8. They tried killing you, huh? COVID treated you that bad. That's horrible. You should really not be doing this without a respirator on. If you could see all the particles of dust that are in the air right now that I'd be breathing in, and diamonds in your lungs, the last particle you want in your lung is diamond dust. Yeah, opals are easy to cut compared to these. These damn things are so labor intensive, it's crazy. This is the easy part right here. All the hard stuff's already done.
Well, cerium oxide is typically either 500,000 or 100,000 grit. And so I have optical cerium oxide, which is 100,000 grit. Before I sell a stone, before it leaves, I'll usually hit it with some cerium oxide before it leaves. So cerium oxide is the final polish. Whoops. Well, it's time for me to get new filters. I could smell some of the burning hog hair through this mask. That means the mask is no good anymore. I mean, it'll probably work for all this dust that's in the air, but it's no good for like paint fumes or anything, that's for sure. God damn it. Twice I did that. Alright, I guess I'm gonna go wash this and see how it looks. Actually, I already know it's not good enough on these edges over here. I used, no, not a handle. I at one point I bought a bunch of them from a liquidator. I had like 300 of them or something, but I sold them all. I found a supply company in North Dakota to buy them all from me. Huh. Ah, shit. That was bad. I just skipped off the side of the stone. I don't think I scarred the stone, but I just skipped off the side of the stone and had some of these bristles come off the burr and go right into my eye. It bounced off the side of my glasses. I got lucky though, I'm good. That one edge right there really didn't catch the shine the way it's supposed to, man. Yeah, not good enough, not good enough. I don't doubt that, Archangel.
I don't doubt that one bit. So since you're selling leverite for top dollar, you can buy my fire agate for top dollar. Pay up, buddy. Alright, I'm gonna go wash this up. Oh, shit! Well, I literally cannot use that burr anymore for that until I wash it now anyways. Oh yeah, I've been working on stones, man. I got badass stones. I'm just not selling them as cheap as people say they should be. Lots of people seem to think fire agate should be cheap. Cheaper than crap that doesn't take this much work and doesn't have this much color in it. And I say crap because I mean, I've seen people selling pieces of carnelian from some location that I've never heard of and 90% of the world's never heard of that now has apartment complexes on it and nobody's ever going to be able to dig that carnelian again, and trying to sell that for $1,500, and it's just a cabochon. I mean, it's just a cabochon of an alright carnelian with some yellow swirls in it and, you know, some orangish red. It's definitely, in my mind, not a gemstone worth $1,500 in any crazy way. That's where we are so far. That edge still didn't take the polish I want right there, but to tell you the truth, I'm not going to worry about it because there's an area up here I'm really not happy with that I'm going to come back on. There's just tool marks right there I'm going to come back on, and I'm not happy with the sides either, so I'm going to end up repolishing that off of camera. But I'm just going to go ahead and hit it with the final level of Diashine right now so we can really just see how it looks, because it's going to give us the overall, and I'll come back and touch it up on my own time when I don't have you guys on screen right here. I mean, that's all fine and dandy, Resort Dog, but if a carnelian that is cabochoned is worth more than this fire agate of the same size, then I'm
I'll never sell any fire agate to anybody pretty much, because that's just, I just can't deal with that bullshit. Just can't handle that, man. I won't quit the fire agate, I just will never sell it to anybody. I got like 40 hours into this thing, and it's gorgeous and it's huge. It's got super bright colors, and it's got sort of some dimmer colors over here. And just because of the whole aesthetics of the thing, I wanted to keep the... Take my mask off. Because of the whole aesthetics of the thing, I wanted to keep the dimmer stuff down here, even though when I tried to really expose it and make it bright like up top, it just started to go away. There's like a light purple underneath it that's barely showing up. And my direction of my light might not be right for the camera either. When I have a damn stone on camera. But yeah, it shows up fantastic. I'm thinking like double what the other dude said, maybe just under. I'm thinking right now like 700 minimum for this stone, probably. Maybe more. I really have to finish polishing it. It's nice and wet right now, but it's not finished. Yeah, I understand that resort dog, but my exact reference was to how some people are putting prices on stones that are, there's really not that much special about the rock itself. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, there's not that much special about it. And I mean, I don't care. The only reason a locality of something matters is in gauging what kind of quality it's going to be. You know what I mean? There are people that definitely pay a premium for stones that come out of the United States, and that can be because acquiring stones out of the United States would be more expensive. Yet, somebody was saying, I think it was Jeff, who's one of our viewers every now and then, was saying how a person was talking about how much his stone was worth and asking how much his stone was worth. And he had said, well, it depends on the location. And that's not actually true. Once it's cut, location doesn't matter. Quality, color matters. That's really what matters. Size, quality, and color. The only time location matters on fire agate is before it's cut. Because before it's cut, the location is going to tell you what the percentages of quality you're going to get out of the stone. I mean, the reality is that if you're buying Saddle Mountain and Round Mountain stuff that people went and picked up off the ground, you're not, I don't care, you're not going to cut the percentage of stones out of that rough that you would out of Deer Creek or Slaughter Mountain or mine. You're not going to cut the same amount of great stones. You're going to find some color, but you're mainly going to have browns and bronzes and not lots of greens and blues and purples and stuff like that. So that's where location with fire agate matters. It matters in rough. You know, once you cut it, all that matters is what you can see, you know? I mean, what the Sierra Blast is. I have no idea what the Sierra Blast is. I could probably look it up real quick. I mean, this stone's so wet looking right now. There's a couple of spots I definitely need to go back and fix. I mean, it looks so good for only doing 2 stages of polish on the damn rock, though. It really does. Let me put you back over there. I don't know what that is. If you're talking about where you're, I thought, oh, I did. If you're talking about where you're using basically an expanding concrete to move rocks and break them up, then yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, see, I didn't get a good enough polish up here on this edge. Right in there, I got to go back over that with the medium. And in that line, I got to go back over that in the medium. But the funny thing is down here where I was stabbing it deep in there, no problem. That got the color in there. And I'm only working with 2 color bars here. I have a green and then I have a blue underneath, and that's pretty much it until I get all the way deep into the agate. So that wasn't going to happen. Definitely have a little bit to touch up. But it does look fantastic. I'll touch it up tomorrow, probably first thing in the morning. It's one of the first things I do. And I'll put this, I have a video I'm making about this for shorts, so you'll see this stone again real soon. Where are you going to acquire the water to do that out in plush? There's no ability to do that out in plush. You just make so much mud you wouldn't even find the stones. That's not how you're going to go and get sunstones. It's like carting the water up there is so expensive too. I mean, yeah, no, definitely not. I don't know. I've never heard of Sierra Blast before. That seems like a silly name for water, for aqua mining, because, you know, aqua mining is where you take pressurized water and you shoot out the hillside. That's what aqua mining is. Sierra Blast seems like somebody else just wanted to give it their own cool name, so that's what they called it or something. Aqua mining, hydro mining. You're like taking water and you're blasting the side of a fucking hillside. Like, that's a thing that's been done, you know, plenty of times. They do it for gold off the side of rivers. How does supply and demand factor into the price in any cut or polished material? That's a really good question. I'm glad I backed up so I could see that. Let me take a picture of that. Whoops, not what I meant to do. How does supply and demand factor into the price in any cut or polished material? For fire agate right now, it doesn't. The only way supply and demand factors in is on a cutter by cutter basis and scenario, because fire agate is in the type of fire agate I'm carving that you guys see on this channel. This is one of the rarest gemstones on the planet, hands down. Because even if somebody has 100 pounds of rough that's good rough and they don't know how to cut it and they're impatient and they go put it on wheels, they're not going to come off with anything like what I'm putting out, or anybody that carves like Richard or Jason or Steve, these guys that are on the fire agate websites. You consistently see them putting out really beautiful stones. You can't do that and be impatient about it. And that's why they're not posting their sale prices anymore either. That's why they post these stones, and then if you're watching the groups, you'll notice they just say sold. If you want to know the price, you got to DM them, because they would put the price that they want, and a bunch of assholes would come on there saying, that's not worth it, you shouldn't pay that. They're not selling that fucking stone. Like, those people that are talking all that shit on those groups, they're not the ones that are posting any stones that look like that. They have no right to say what any price on any of these stones is worth, because they're not producing anything like that. So it's really funny how the people that aren't producing it, that aren't buying it, and aren't selling it are the ones trying to cry about the price in these groups and trying to drive the price down to the point to where somebody who's carving it's going to make like $10 an hour. And that's just not going to happen for much longer. The stone is starting to become known, and once it's put in gold and a woman sees it, she will absolutely buy that right next to an opal. No problem. No problem whatsoever. I've never had anything but oh my gods and wows when I show my stones to people that are into either rocks or crystals or gemstones, and they've never seen one, and I show it to them live. Their jaw hits the floor and they don't understand why they've never seen it before. So My last video was all about that, and in the actual determination, this question is easy to answer. The reason it doesn't is because there's no real market. There's no real big market. There's a handful of artisans around the world that are selling this stone properly cut and properly colorized, properly relieved to show the color that's in the stone. There's only a handful of people in the world that are doing it properly. So much so that the people that are selling the majority of fire agate are not selling good finished stones. And you know, they're still getting a few $100s for a cabochon of fire agate because people are basing their prices off of that price. A $25 a carat fire agate is typically going to be a directional fire agate with really bright color from a direction. You're going to see it flash when it turns. But a really great carved piece of fire agate that has the right shape to it is not really going to be very directional. If it's really round, it's going to be very directional. But you know what? I need to shut up about this because this is another video I'm going to be doing soon. So I'll talk about all that later. Watch the video. I gave up too much information already anyways. Oh, the company is based in the Sierra Mountains. So that makes sense why they're calling that then, because whereas some people have opinions about anybody making wages. No shit up, bruh. Oh, ain't that a fact? Don't be one of these people complaining about the price that somebody's making at a shit job. You know who doesn't complain about the amount of money somebody's making at McDonald's? Somebody that's worked at a McDonald's before. Somebody who's actually worked. And the funny thing is that the people that complain, oh, well, this nurse that's flipping old people in a bed, I'm referencing a Facebook post, this nurse that's flipping people in a bed should be making $42 an hour if somebody working at McDonald's is making $21 an hour. And I call fucking bullshit. Because although that nurse might be trained higher and she definitely went to a school and she has a better background, that doesn't mean the work she's doing is harder or more difficult. The work she's doing is just as shitty, might even be more shitty because she has to clean bedpans and pissed beds and stuff like that. But the thought process that a person who's flipping burgers at McDonald's is doing no work is fucking crazy, because that job sucks, not because it's easy. Like, it doesn't suck because it's easy. It sucks because when it's being done right, you are working non-stop. From beginning to end, you are standing in one place doing something, taking 3 or 4 steps to the right, 3 or 4 steps to the left, and you are busting your ass all day long. Because if a McDonald's is doing good business, that motherfucker don't stop running all day. It's a non-stop hit. Only people that complain about that shit, motherfuckers ain't never had the job before. Because I know this, anybody that's ever served as a waiter or a wait staff of any kind are the best motherfucking tippers when they got money. And some of the shittiest tippers I've ever seen ain't never had a fucking menial job in their lives. I know everybody here I'm talking to has pretty much had a menial job at some point, because digging in for rocks is definitely not a fucking job that people say, hey, that's an educated thing to do. Although, you know, geology and all that. Caleko, bro, do you wire wrap fire agates? No, I do not wire wrap fire agates, and I am not going to learn to wire wrap. I am not interested in that shit at all whatsoever. And the reason I'm not interested in it is because I believe it's a fad. I do not believe that wire wrapping holds up through time. So being that I don't believe that it holds up through time, I don't want to make my artwork about that. I am going to get into gold, forging gold. That's really where the next step is after I've got the fire agate pretty much mastered right now. Once I show you guys that inverted piece, this piece was super hard to carve, and that inverted piece, when I show you guys that inverted piece, like that's like my master's degree in fire agate carving. These are like the hardest things I've ever had to carve. And getting these down and understanding how everything's running is really locking in for me. So I'm going to keep pushing on that. And I've been doing a lot of learning about how to make jewelry, and I really want to get into making pendants and rings. Pendants and rings are the thing for fire agate. They really should be. Earrings are sort of hard to do because you really want earrings to sort of match. I could make earrings match, but I'd have to cut away a lot of stone to make earrings match. So that would make earrings more expensive, where earrings tend to be one of the cheaper items compared to rings and pendants on most stones. So I respect the artwork that other people do in wrapping, but for the amount of frustration, time, and skill that takes over a long period of time, I think if they would save up and spend $2,000 on forging materials and would be starting with silver and then start making gold jewelry, I think that those people would be happier longer with their artwork. And that's really where I'm going towards. I'm going towards making, real jewelry, because I definitely believe that fire agate's a real gemstone, and I don't want to put my art into silver unless it's not that great of a stone. Because even my not big stones, like this little green banger that I was carving on earlier, that deserves gold. I mean, if that was an opal that was that bright, that had that much color in it, even if it was white and it was green like that from all angles, come on, man. I mean, it'd be ridiculous. And that's really where I'm at. I really feel like fire agate is super undervalued, when a great piece of carved fire agate, some people are trying to tell me, is worth less than a white opal with good color. And when I talk to, or when I find writing from old jewelers, I find the exact opposite of that. That yes, on average fire agate goes for average prices about $25 a carat, but special fire agate carved by special people does not go for that price. You're paying an artist price for that sort of stuff. Sierra Blast uses micro explosives, but just a swallow's worth of water makes the rock expand more. I have no idea, and nobody uses blasting for any sort of sunstones. That's a complete and total waste of money. And I would never use blasting for fire agate, because it already has fire agates, due to geological occurrences, it already will have breaks in it. This stone that I'm carving right here, this one right here has like 4 or 5 fractures that were naturally healed by the stone itself. Like you can see one, you probably won't see it on the camera too close, but right on the edge right there, the tip of this stone is totally broken, but it's a naturally healed break by itself. So when the agate healed itself, dealing with some geological refilling and stuff like that. Educated dirt diggers. There are plenty of educated dirt diggers. Shogun. Yeah, I hear white gold is a pain in the ass, and that's why a lot of small artisan jewelers don't want to deal with it, because you're not just dealing with the gold, you're dealing with the whitening of the gold, and then you're also dealing with a rhodium plate over top of it, because most white gold has a rhodium plate over top of the white gold to give that really, really white shine. So apparently that's what I'm finding out. That's why a lot of jewelers that are small jewelers don't like to do that, and you mainly see that coming out of like big jewelry houses and stuff. Rose gold is easier because it has a copper additive to it, so it's just a melt and a pour and a polish instead of a plating. And it's the plating that's the issue. Like small time jewelers don't want to go through the bullshit of plating something that they forged. Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't, Shogun, I wouldn't waste your time with that on plush. On plush, when you're into the good stuff, it's just falling apart. And if you're too quick and you just move too much stuff, you're gonna miss great stones. I mean, it's funny how easy it is to miss a large stone when you're knocking stuff out of a wall. Especially when everything's really loose. When it's so loose you can just scrape at it, and that's when you're in a good spot at plush. That's how it is. Like if you pay for the $200 spot at Chris's, the mine that's $200 a day, when you find the good spot there, that stuff it's so decayed it just falls away. I mean, with a pickaxe or something, it just falls away. Big Bog Chungus, the Great Daniel Kilman. Well, that's one hell of a name, man. That's the way you name your book right there. Big Bog Chungus, the Great Daniel. Oh, Kleinman. Sorry, Kleinman. My bad, bro. My friend really likes the gemstones and he always wanted to be a ring maker, but he died and tomorrow would be his birthday. Sorry about your friend, my friend. That sucks. Happy birthday to him. At least you're remembering him, man. What if a diamond museum wanted it, but they paid you to have, you gave it, but they didn't want to, but since they paid you, you had to give it? User 122, I have no idea what you mean. What if a diamond museum wanted it, but they paid you to have you give it, but they didn't want to, but since they paid you, you had to give it? You're gonna have to type that again, user 122. If you're not some AI trying to figure out English right now. Okay, so that is also why it is way expensive. Why what is way expensive? The type of mining they're doing? I got to Chris all the time. Yeah, you definitely want classifiers. That's definitely what, but it's not even like, I think it's 1/4 inch screen is what Chris has everybody use. But if you go to Chris's mine and most people's mine, they're going to have some sort of a rocker already there. Because I mean, otherwise, bro, like shaking a classifier like that all day instead of using one of Chris's rockers, you want to use one of Chris's rockers. You definitely would rather use that. Use Chris's classifiers if you go there. You're welcome. Resort Dog, contracts or contracts? I think the answer is right. Resort Dog is answering user 122's question. Do what the contract says, man. You're better off. That's good advice. That's good advice from Resort Dog. Do what the contract says and don't get sued. Don't get sued. So, I mean, I was planning on taking this thing to full polish, but I'm just not going to do that now because there's stuff I need to touch up. And why waste the Diashine? I mean, it's definitely a little bit expensive. And that green, man, it's just not quite popping the way I wanted to. And there is a blue that's sort of hazy underneath. Maybe I should just chase for the blue. But then I got more hours into this giant monstrous stone. Blue is one of these colors that aggravates the piss out of me. Blue and purple. Because blue and purple tend to sit right on top of bronze. And the blue and purple will be almost black to where you can't really see it with the naked eye. And then you put that shit on your phone camera and your phone camera will be like, blue, just blue, like blue everywhere, blue. Like your phone camera will just be screaming blue. And you look at that stone with your naked eye and that shit will look black. It won't look brown. It just sucks the light in. It just literally absorbs the light. It's what happened with the last Slaughter Mountain purple I carved. I mean, I'm charging $800 for it. It's basically like $105 a carat. And it's a great blue. But because it's rounded the way it is and it has a shine off it, the light just reflects right off it or grabs it. So at all angles, it looks black except for the one that it winks at you, and then it's just lightning blue. Kyle Marshall, no. The reality is that if you're going to buy opal like that, don't buy it for an investment. Ethiopian opals are gorgeous. I have fantastic Ethiopian opals. Mine are almost done being polished, but I actually stopped because I didn't have something to cut them for. So I was like stuck on shapes, and I'd like cut them just to get all the dirt out of them, just to prove the stones they are. And now I just want to polish them the way they are. Because until I have something to put them in, or until I'm actually doing something with gold, I'm just ready to move off of them and go ahead and sell them because they're gorgeous. I have some of the best ones you're ever going to see in the world. The color's amazing. but I wouldn't put them into jewelry I would wear because I'm a careless fuck and I slam my hands down on things and I'll be joking and I fling my arms and I have broken everything that's breakable. So if I have an emerald in a ring, guaranteed I'm going to be laughing and joking with someone. I'm going to slam my fucking hand down on a hard table surface and it's going to crack the emerald inside that ring. I already did that shit. Broke the hell out of that emerald. Only emerald ring I ever owned. And this is back when emeralds were expensive, because emeralds aren't expensive right now because they've got the synthetic, or they got the growing of emeralds down so tight. The price of emeralds dove. Like, they got this on lock. They're putting out so many emeralds that look natural now that there's almost no point to mining natural emeralds because you can't prove it. You cannot prove it's a natural emerald. You cannot disprove it's a lab-grown emerald, and it doesn't really look like a lab. You know, there's a video on YouTube about this. You should definitely watch. It's really great. This lady is in like some other country, and she's explaining the process. And they basically take a really small seed emerald and put it in this chamber, and then fill that chamber with chemicals, and then hit that chamber with radiation and shit, and then that grows more emeralds, exactly with the same type of flaws that the seed emerald came from. So I mean, it looks identical. They will never ever ever grow this. Not a chance in hell. This is going to be just as fakeable. Anyways, back to the whole opal thing. I don't think that anybody's ever going to come up with a process of filling those, because the reality is that they need something that is going to be thin enough to where it can be pressure pushed into the opals, where the opals will suck it up, or it can be vacuum pushed into the opals. And then they need that to dry without losing any of its size, without having a chemical release that would damage the opals. You see what I'm saying here? Like, it's just, the opals are just too much. They're just too fragile. Like, it's the way that they are molecularly made is not meant to be here forever. They're not going to be here forever. I don't think there's anything that anybody's going to do about it. I honestly think that sooner or later somebody's going to figure out how to fake opals before they figure out how to fix the opals that are damaged. That's my personal opinion on it, because I think that they're missing something, and I think that Resort Dog is probably right on what they're missing in actually starting with the jelly solution of silicone or silica, starting with the jelly solution or whatever the chemical makeup is, and then getting the molecules to align properly. I think that he's right in that it has to do with magnetics and it has to do with electricity. Just because of some of the things I've seen watching documentaries, and then some of the stuff that he was talking to me at the time. And when he goes off on some of the stuff, he'll sound like a fucking crazy wino on the side of the road, babbling about shit you don't understand, but it sounds smart. You know what I mean? Like, he's so hyper intelligent about some of this stuff that it's hard to grasp what he's saying. Just doesn't sound fucking crazy. You know, I mean, honestly, it's the truth. But it's such a higher level of thinking about some of this stuff that's why it sounds crazy. And then when I started hearing other stuff about protons and neutrons, and then what he's saying sort of makes sense in getting the molecules to align perfectly in that. Like, it has something to do with the solution electricity, probably, like, and heat, pressure. But anyways. Yeah, I don't think anybody's ever going to figure that out. And if you want to cut Ethiopian opals, you have to cut them dry. It's as simple as that. When I figured this out, because I ruined a few Ethiopian opals, and I had even soaked my Ethiopian opals and then let them dry, and then had soaked them again and left them soaked, and then cut some of them and then let them dry, and only had a couple of them crack and craze, and every one of them dried out fine since then. But I don't trust them, and I think I got lucky when I did that with those. I really think I got lucky, because when I've done a bunch of research, nobody's really had luck cutting them wet consistently. They'll get like one every now and then that cuts fine. Most of them, after a few weeks of cutting, turn into shit. So the best way to do is just cut them dry, and then after you cut them dry, polish them by hand. you know, I mean, you can polish them on a wheel, but you on dry, it seems like you only get to such a high polish. And then I would use polishing pastes, like oil-based pastes, because then you don't need to use water in order for it to stay slick. So that's my advice on that. I should make a video on that, but you just asked, and there's only a few people in here, so yeah. Yeah, I'm telling you, dude, when Resort Dog starts going off, like if you ever go to Virgin Valley, he's a guy to hang out with. He really is. He's usually down by Opal Negra or something like that. You can find him online. He has his own thing. I forgot the name of it. But he's wicked smart about this stuff. And when it comes to getting a true geological lesson, and like him taking you out to, like, you're not supposed to dig for anything out there anymore except on a mining claim. Well, he has mining claims. He has mining claims for Chrysocolla. He has mining claims. It's a copper claim. He has mining claim for the copper for Chrysocolla. He has mining claims for opal. He has mining claims for a few different things out there. So, I mean, you really want to go and dig for stuff. He's the guy to meet out there if you're not just going to go to, like, one of the well-known opal digs that are out there, which, once again, if you're into specimen grade or you're trying to find a big ass piece of conchwood, I say go. I mean, those people are fucking assholes for the whole interaction. Both sides. Both those sides are assholes. And sure, I might be an asshole too, but I was an asshole by accident. I really was. And the way everything got dealt with is really fucking childish, and these people are supposed to be business people. You know what I mean? Like, it's really fucking dumb this whole thing got dealt with from both sides. And honestly, I don't even care anymore. And the reason I don't care is because at no point is any one of those specimens going to be as valuable to me as fire agate is. It's just not going to happen because I can't wear it and other people can't wear it. And specimens are all great and dandy, but people want shit that can hang around their neck. Like, ladies want something different than other people have that's going to make somebody go, wow. You know, specimens are hard to sell for $7 grand. Rings are easier to sell for $7 grand. Well, I mean, even Shogun, even Resort Dog would tell you that, like, he loves going to, I don't know if he's allowed back at the Royal Peacock, because, you know, anyways, some people are petty for dumb reasons, but whatever. Resort Dog's a good person. He can get on people's nerves, but that's because he's a little bit different. And nobody that does the type of stuff he does is going to be, you know, normal. He's super hyper intelligent. He knows what he's talking about, and at the same time, he can go fucking left wing nut on you sometimes about some of the stuff he's going off on. But when it comes to the knowledge of what's going on out there, he knows. Like, he really does. And he's good people. He's good people. And that's the thing that matters the most to me. Like, being good people is a huge deal. It's a huge deal. It's like one of these rich dudes there's this guy that has this YouTube video where he goes up to people. He lives in, like, this really rich neighborhood, and he goes up to people, and they're like badass cars. They're like leaving their subdivisions and their houses and their private fucking whatevers. And he goes up to them. It's like, hey, can I ask you what you do for a living? And, you know, and he gets them to answer a couple of questions. And he's talking to this one guy, and he's driving an Aston Martin. He's like, what do you do for a living? He's like, oh, well, I created a process. And he's like, what's that mean, I create a process? He goes, well, I created a singular process inside of all medical billing. So there's this credit card process that I created, and I get 2 cents off every single credit card transaction on every single medical bill in the United States. So, I mean, that has to be a lot of fucking money a year, right? And so the guy goes, well, I mean, if you could, you know, give anybody one piece of advice, what would that be? And he goes, people, you know, find out who's loyal to you and then hold on to them and only them. And that's the best piece of advice you can give anybody, because too many people don't recognize loyalty, and they, like, hold on to coolness or fakeness or gaslight, not gas, people telling you what you want to hear, you know, like that sort of thing, instead of somebody who's real, you know, and has been loyal and has been honest. And you know, as we get older, we definitely notice this stuff. But I've noticed there's a lot of older people that haven't figured this out. They will, especially women, have this problem. They will absolutely attach themselves to somebody that's kissing their ass and not see why that person is kissing their ass to manipulate them for something. You know what I mean? Whereas the person who's been loyal to them forever, they just won't hear all of the warnings coming from that person. You know what I mean? Like, this happens to men too, but typically, you know, women are real susceptible to this shit. Damn ass kissers. Hey, Raw Dog, how you doing? How you doing, man? I was just about to jump off. I'll show that stone one more time before I sign off. So next week we're going to do a sale. Next week I'm going to have a bunch of cut stones to sell. I'm going to see if I can have some pre-shaped stones that people just need to finish. See if that's going to be possible for me to do. If I have some pre-shaped, oh, wrong way, there we go. That's what I need to do. If I have some pre-shaped stones that people can just go ahead and finish, and I'll sell some of those too. See if I can move some fire agate at some fair prices. Although really I should probably just post pictures and put them in the fire agate groups on Facebook, because they do tend to sell out of there pretty fast. Stones I got are pretty nice. There is a blue underneath that green. This light green right here. There's a blue underneath there. But when I went to expose that blue right along these edges, it was really, really dim. Like really, really dim. Like so dim as I wasn't sure I wanted to keep trying to expose it. I thought I might lose the brightness of that green that's there. Oh, I'm trying to get it back on camera. So you see that little purple right there, right? See what I was saying about it sort of like light and, damn it, I'm trying to stay on camera. Sort of angular. That's what I'm worried about when I chase purples. Worried about losing the freaking great bright all angles color. There's that self-healed break. There's a few of them in this piece, but that's the only one you can see real majorly. The rest of them are all hidden by the color. And it's definitely self-healed. It's definitely not something that was created digging it out of the ground or anything. This was a hard carve. 400 bucks my ass. It's like 2.5 inches long and 1.5 inches thick. There's a deep pool in it. Could cut it up into 3 stones if I wanted to. Sure could, sure could. You can't see it. Oh, shit. Ouch. I just bumped my head on the camera. That's whack. I just did all that shit talking and it wasn't even on camera, and because I was looking at the stone, not my phone. So horrible. We can't see it. We're looking at the back of your fucking head. So dumb. So you can see that purple. See that purple? That purple shows up really good at that angle on the camera. It does not show up that good with the naked eye. It really doesn't.
I mean, I'm not going to go and be talking shit the whole time again. You know, it's like only one shit talking session per show, right? The stone talks for itself. I mean, once you can see, it's a whirlpool. There's that broken edge I was talking about. Yep. It's a freaking banger, folks. It's a banger. Oh, yeah. And I'll totally do like layaway and payment plans for people on my shit, too. Like, that's no problem. You know, I mean, for my viewers that are on here, if I have something that you guys want. And also, never be scared to, if you see something inside of my store that you like, to offer me a different price. All I can say is no. And there's at least 3 times I can think of where I've had people contact me and ask me if I'd be willing to sell a stone for a different price that we negotiated much less than what I had inside of my store. That does happen a lot. With what Resort Dog was saying about wholesaling and retailing, and that's exactly the way the prices are set too. The prices are set to be what I want retail for a stone. The reason I have to think like that is because there has to be somewhere for me to move if somebody wants to buy a whole lot of stones. And that's how I'd rather be selling. I'd rather sell, 10 stones at once to somebody and be giving them a price for all the stones as a package deal and making, a few $1,000s at once instead of selling a stone here and selling a stone there and selling a stone here. So they're definitely set to what I think the value should be on a stone, but there's plenty of times where I will change, what the stone is going to sell for to sell to one of my people. So, and I mean, it's not like anybody finds that stuff on Etsy that's not almost always off of my channel. Almost every single person I've ever sold anything to on Etsy is off of my channel. You know what, Shogun? I have no idea. The purple probably does show in sunlight better, but the fire agate loves to really show great on a cloudy day. There's something about the diffusion of the light, and you know what? This is something that I'm going to end up talking about in a video that I hope you'll watch later too. The way that it's because of the fire agate's reflective, right? It's not refractive. So opals are refractive, right? The light goes into the opal and it bounces around and it comes back out. Well, with fire agate, it's not acting like that most of the time. It's bouncing directly off of it and it's reflecting off of it. So if the stone is really curved, the light divides and just goes around the stone. It doesn't bounce off the stone and come back at you. But if the stone has flat spots on it or has like undulations, then the light will reflect off of lots of places and come back to your eye. So sometimes a stone will seem directional even though it's carved perfectly because it's too round. Like the perfect example of that is my snowman stone. My snowman stone is carved perfectly epic. It's nonstop color. But if there's directional light on it, there's a light coming from one way, that's the way you can really see a really bright color. And as you move it, it sort of moves like a cat's eye over it because of how round it is. Right now, Kyle, nothing. Nothing does. Fire agate absolutely has me absorbed again right now. I lost some passion for a moment because of dealing with a bunch of traumatic shit in my life. And now that I'm getting over all that traumatic shit, man, my mind is dead set on I want to get paid for an art that I love to do. I've always wanted to get paid for an art that I love to do. When I started mixing records,
I was getting paid, you know, a fair amount of money to go and play for 2 hours, and I was getting that twice a night. I was when I was doing well, I was making like $1,000 a week, working 2 nights a week, and at the end of the 90s as a DJ. When the Rave Act came around, all that shit went down the tube, and nobody paid anything, and I made all these mixes for years and never made a dime off of it, just spent a whole bunch of money. And I love that with a passion. I still go back and listen to these mixes. I don't want Fire Agate and this other stuff to be the same way. You know what I mean? And when I'm looking at a bunch of other stuff that I see people getting and making and cutting, it just doesn't have the value to it or the artistic aspect. And when I say the artistic aspect, that's what I absolutely mean. I absolutely mean that it takes a special skill set to facet a stone. But only some people really make faceting an art form. Faceting is much more a science than it is an art form. But some people are so good at the science that they turn that science into an art form. Cabochons, not even really an art form. That's like, cabochons are like, I mean, when it's opals, yeah, because that definitely takes a lot of finesse with some opals, especially when we talk about black opal, not losing color. But in general, cabochons are not really an art form. Like they're like the commercial grade of any sort of lapidary work. You know what I mean? Like it's the easy push it through type of one. Carving fire agate is an absolute skill that takes forever to figure out and get right. And it's just easier to cut mediocre stones. It's just easier to cut to where you think you see some color and quit. But to cut really, really great stones, man, you end up going over and fixing stuff and spending so much time on a stone. It's art. It's absolutely art. There's no question in my mind. I mean, I love other stones, don't get me wrong. And when it comes to digging, I want to dig for anything that's treasure. I mean, I don't give a shit what it is. As long as it's cool and it's pretty, I'll go. I love digging for treasure. I like hard work that has that aspect of you know, I'm gonna find Davy Jones's treasure. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna get the gold. Like that's just always, it hits us. Everybody loves that, right? So as far as that aspect, anything. But when it comes to actually like cutting and trying to make some money off it right now, fire agate's it for me right now. I'm gonna sell some of my opals. But yeah, fire agate's it for me right now. I would happily buy and sell other stuff. But I'm obsessed with this, and I'm thinking that, you know, I'm going to keep cutting and I'm going to keep making, you know, fantastic, amazing stones. And at some point, people are going to come to me for my art. That's my idea. Or maybe I'll end up dying like a little old lady that painted for 80 years and nobody ever noticed her art. And then all of a sudden she died and they're like, hey, guess what? This is worth something. It's worth a lot, you know, like. Yeah, black opals. That's so easy to fuck it up, man. I turned fruit fly catching it in art form, but nobody's buying my shit. Well, you know, the thing that threw me with that fruit fly thing is the part where you're like, you got to put a banana in the jar, and then you got to wait for the fruit flies to go in the jar and then put the lid back on. So you're telling me I got to time it to where I get all the fruit flies in a separate jar? Like, hell no. Put this towel down. I mean, it might be me, you know, that might be me, but I don't think so. I think that I'm pretty sure that fire agate has had a dual issue going on, and that is that the people that know how to make money off of the stone are keeping it secret how to make money off of the stone, and they're letting everybody else think that it's worth less than it is. You know, if only a few people can bring out the real magic in the stone and only a few people can get the full evaluation of the stone, then there's never going to be a market for it. There's never going to be a real market for it. You're never going to have, you know, real collectors coming and hunting down the most magnificent pieces of fire agate. Like, it's just not going to happen unless people understand the real grades and the real variations, because this is one of the most grade heavy long spectrum stones you can absolutely have out there that people would give a fuck about. Like, I mean, it really is. I mean, the level of quality from rough to cut, depending on how well it's cut and the color that's in the rough that you start off with, it can just, one piece, if you had one piece reproduced 100 times and gave it to 100 different carvers, you might get lucky if you came out with 10 that are as good as the best piece. If you're really fucking lucky. Probably not, because there's probably not even that many people in the world that carve fire agate that good right now. I mean, I know of like 7 in the fucking world. I know of 7 people that carve world-class fire agate. And that's counting me as one of them. I know 7 people. Yeah, if I let bananas get brown, though, I'm baking something with them. No, I love to cook, man. I've been making all kinds of... It's like, here's a really great one, right? Plums are really popular at Sam's Club right now, so you can get these plums. And the purple plums are fucking amazing for this, right? So you take the plums, you dice them up, and you throw them in a pan, like 4 or 5, maybe 6 or 7, and a half a bottle of white wine, and about a tablespoon of butter, half a cup of sugar, big splash of vanilla, big splash of cinnamon. Cook that down to where you can tell the alcohol is out, and taste it. And you want to taste the wine. You can taste the wine and get it to where it's like not wet anymore, to where it's getting a little bit thick. And then throw that in a fucking pan and take equal parts of flour and take like 3/4 of a cup of flour and 3/4 of a cup of rolled oats, and then mix that with a half a stick of butter and a cup and a half of brown sugar, and then throw that on top and bake that motherfucker for 45 minutes at 350. Boy, it's gonna be some bomb shit, I tell you. Oh man, I don't know, honestly. I love to cook because I'm not really a chef, right? I'm a home cook. My knife skills are garbage. My palate is outstanding. Like, I made a salad today, right? And I was like, fuck, man, I got nothing in here. I got these fish sticks. I got these Gordon's fish sticks. I got nothing to cook. And I'm like, I need to eat salad. I got the salad's going bad. I've been eating. I need to eat it. What am I going to do with this salad? It's like, oh, you know what? I know what I'm going to do with that salad. I'm going to chop up some pears. I'm going to take some pears and I'm going to mix it with some white wine. I'm going to throw a little bit of Gruyere in it, and I'm going to turn it into a sauce. And then I'm going to take some vinegar and I'll mix all that with the salad. I'll put the fish on top hot. Shit was awesome. It was really good. Although I did pull the fish out of the Gordon's Fisherman, oily cased wrapping, because I tried it with that and I really liked the crunch, but the oil was like fucked everything up. Like, I love Gruyere. Like, here's another good one. If you're ever making a burger, works really great on a burger. Works awesome on eggs too. You take a half an onion and dice it up, and then throw it in a pan with some butter and let it reduce. Once again, hit it with some white wine, probably about a cup of white wine. Let that reduce, although not the white wine first. You need to let the onions caramelize, like really, really brown the fucking onions. Let them get like greasy brown, and then throw just a dash of garlic in there on the pan away from the onions, and let the garlic roast. And then after the garlic roast, then hit it with the white wine. And just a little bit of starch, or a little bit of starch, or a little bit of flour, so you can thicken it up into a little bit of a sauce. And then take that, when it gets real, you want it to get thick, like a gel, or like a jelly almost. When it's like thick, then go ahead and take that off of the pan and put that on fucking anything, and it is just Did I tell you about the Gruyere? You got to shave some Gruyere into it. If I didn't say the Gruyere is the key to that whole fucking thing, man. The Gruyere, a Gruyere burger with caramelized onions and a light garlic. Oh my God, it doesn't matter. It's potatoes, eggs, hamburger. It's just fucking amazing. Everybody on this channel hates videos where I'm not digging. I mean, when I was consistently making videos about anything, you know, even though the channel's growing, I'd get like 100 to 200 of you that would watch a video about anything that I made, and that was great. But it really didn't help the channel grow. And the channel and the algorithm hate it when I make stuff that's not interesting to rock hounds. I mean, it's pretty much what I found out. Like, it just absolutely hates it. So if I make videos that are outside like the rock hounding or what a rock hound might be interested in, or possibly if I'm making videos about, say, like updating the bus to be going on rock hounding trips or something, those would probably do fine. I'm not sure cooking videos would do any good for me. What I need to do is I need to start up a Patreon again. So that people that are donating to Patreon, I can start doing giveaways for great cut stones because I'm cutting stones great. And that'll start bringing in some money towards my art form. Now that I have an art form, I am happy that I know I can give some value back. I shut down my Patreon because I wasn't comfortable taking money from people, and I'm not fucking making videos that I felt were valuable. Like, that's the whole reason I shut that down. If I'm not giving value, I don't want to be asking for things from people. So dig some onions. That's a good one, Archangel. So dig some onions. That's actually, I should have thought about that shit. I'm going to be burying some onions in my backyard now. That's a good idea. Oh my God, that's such a great idea. Dig some onions. I forgot, I lost my train of thought on that damn joke. Oh, but the Patreon fucking thing. But also because I finally found an avenue that people are going to care about that doesn't mean I have to be in the dirt. And I have to get an avenue that people like you, that people you're going to want to share videos to, are going to want to watch, so I can get the growth factor back. Because, I mean, YouTube hasn't totally kicked me out. My channel still grows a little bit. But I really need to get back to the point where I get thousands and thousands of people watching the videos. Because if a video gets 200,000 views, then I can make $2,000. And if I can make one video a week that gets $2,000, we can be digging, baby. Like, we can be digging, we can be owning shit, we can be making shit. You know, I mean, the reality is that when I stopped YouTubing in order to try and save my marriage, everything got shittier. And if I just would have ignored my fucking marriage and kept staying on the road and YouTubing, I'd probably have plenty of money right now, and all of that shit probably would have worked itself out. But it didn't. I made a horrible decision. And the bad decision was not just staying on the road and ignoring my fucking relationship. That's what I should have done. Actually, I think I'm going to do... I'm stuck, right? I'm stuck between naming the next channel, which is going to be like a day-to-day keep up with me, or actually I'm sort of stuck between doing a day-to-day channel and just doing a channel that's only for my people on Patreon. You know, that's like a day-to-day, keeping up with clips, whatever interesting that might be happening. I'm always running into crazy shit. Every time I'm doing something, I'm running into crazy shit, and I'm not filming, and that's, I need to always be filming. But if I'm not doing it for a reason, then I'm not going to be filming. I just can't get myself to spend the time, because if you're filming, you're not living. Literally. Trust me on this. When I'm behind the camera, my mind is not in the moment. My mind is an observer, and it's different for me. I live almost all of my life in the moment with people, and it makes me real, but it can also make me, you know, unappetizing to some people. I don't care about that part. You know, the real part's what I really care about. Yep, marriage is breakup money making. Archangel's on a fucking roll. So on a second channel, I'm stuck between naming it, you know, after my name, or naming it after some other funny sort of stuff that I've come up with that nobody else has come up with yet. I'm sort of good at coming up with names, but it doesn't mean I'm good at branding. You know what I mean? Big difference between branding and coming up with a name. Like the Gem Digs name, because I couldn't use Mining America. They've never done anything with that fucking website, but they want like 20 grand to buy the website. I'm never going to pay them 20 grand to buy that fucking website. I mean, maybe if I was, you know, making money like a Jake Paul or some shit, I would, but. Yeah, if I just would have stayed on the road, I'd be banging right now, but I didn't, and I couldn't afford it. And the reality is, while I say all of that, about 25%, maybe 30% while I was on the road was actually coming from my viewers. The majority of it was coming from my wife. She was the one that was always coming through when I was in desperate need. She was always coming through with more gas money, always for this and always for that. And we were fighting and we didn't like each other, but whenever I was in fucking need, she was always able to come through. So, you know, really, there was only so far that was going to go while I was on the road and while they're having all kinds of problems. And that was why the road stopped for me when it did. You know, I mean, we're having all kinds of financial problems, we're having all kinds of emotional problems, and if I can't afford to be there, there's no fucking way, because anybody that's done this before, you know how expensive it is. Like, I mean, being on the road and digging is not cheap. You're better off buying your rocks from anywhere than you are going out and digging them generally. I mean, generally. You know, there's a few exceptions, some agates and stuff like that. But especially fire agate, hands down, for sure. There's no reason for you to go dig fire anywhere. None. Nope. You buy it. Buy it from somebody. You just got to buy it from somebody you can trust has actually got it from a good locale. That's what really matters, the location. Anyways, guys, I think I'm done ranting, but this is the longest I've held a crowd. Apparently, me talking and bullshitting is much more interesting than me carving the stones, because consistently we could stay with like 4 while I was carving. When I'm just sitting here shit-talking with you guys, we can keep 8, no problem. Anybody got anything, any last things to say before I sign off? How you all want to have sex with me rocks? Me rocks are sexy rocks. I know, there's like a 3 or 4 minute delay, it seems like, with this thing sometimes. But I mean, the picture's alright. The last time I did this and I recorded it and I went back and looked at the picture, was horrible. You're uniting with your talking, it brings us together, brother. Well, maybe that's what I need to do, is some more videos on shit talking. Or maybe I need to, I know what I can do. I can do some research on some dig sites, and maybe, although those, I'm not sure if that'll work. Good luck with the onion digging. Yeah, right. No, now you gave me an idea. Yeah, give me fire, says Jay. Oh, I can switch the camera angle real quick before I go up. I can sign off with that camera angle on. Oh, that's right. That's what I did last time. And actually, I can go to even bigger. Oh, focus for me, camera. So this is the big monster. Me getting on camera is sort of difficult. It's over my shoulder, so everything's upside down and backwards. And I'm like looking at it up over my shoulder to try and keep it on camera and have it all close up. Stupid upside down and backwards. And then there's this little guy that I was supposed to polish and take to its final polish that I didn't, but it just needs some touch up anyways. But it's a banger. Capturing that color is all about seeing and figuring out where your timing is and being willing to be patient, man. Like, it's really willing to spend, you know, 10 hours on a stone. I mean, honestly,
On a good stone, you're going to spend way more than 10 hours, but on an easy stone, on a simple stone, this is going to be a simple stone. This stone's only going to be like probably 3 or 4 hours. I've already got an hour into it. So there's some fire for you before I sign off. Putting out mad bangers. Next week we'll do nothing but bullshitting, and we'll sell some stones next week. I'm going to set up a garage sale. I got to start advertising a garage sale. I got to get some money coming in. Definitely got to get some money coming in. I'd rather be carving stones all day, but I guess I'm going to have to go take an hourly. Really sort of disappointed that whole thing with Out to Destin is not going to work out, though, because I was really wanting to improve my relationship with my daughters and my sons. And $18 an hour to start with some quick advancement opportunities that were being offered was sort of cool, too. But, you know, such is life. Relationships are hard. People suck. And they're awesome. Sexy rocks. I love y'all for being here. I love y'all for watching. I'm going to go dig some onions. Maybe I will do a cooking video since it was asked for. Maybe. I'll see you guys soon. Actually, come watch my video tomorrow. It's going to be about a little boy that found a giant gold nugget.